Hello and welcome to SEGA News Bits. I'm Barry, with me is George.
Hello everybody.
And do you hear trumpets? It must be Panzer Dragoon. Yes, this came out of nowhere. Panzer Dragoon and Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei remakes have been announced, and these are coming from Forever Entertainment and SEGA Japan.
Yeah.
And wow, so the first one's due out by late 2019, so it sounds like they're not doing like a Shenmue 1 and 2 bundle.
No.
It's one at a time, which is interesting because it's like, are they going to be digital then? Because I can't imagine them doing 2 boxed releases. But I mean, that's speculation for, you know, way down the line. But
well, something you didn't mention was that, like, you know, our listeners are probably like, who is these people that are going to do the remake? And these are the people that brought back Fear Effect, which was also, I guess, sleeping. And not, you know, I'm not that big a fan of how they handle Fear Effect. Like, I think they said they announced a new one where they're going to take away the art style. And I don't know if you guys ever played Fear Effect back in the PS1 era, but a big thing about the games were the art style. It kind of looked like cell shaded before it was cell shaded. It was kind of like Mega Man Legends, where it's not really cell shaded, but it's low quality polygons that have this like really nice aesthetic that people are reusing nowadays.
right.
In indie games, and they like took that out for the new one, and it's like, that's stupid. It's very dumb, especially now that it's more popular.
And that's interesting you bring that up because I was excited to hear the news, and then when I read the press release, there was a few things that did jump out at me. They said that there will be several modifications made to the game to make it more attractive to modern players, and they also said that the game will feature brand new graphics and will remain faithful to the game's original story, but they don't say it will retain the gameplay. And
so it might not even be a real shooter.
I mean, it has to be, right? Like, if you're remaking it,
I mean,
that's what I don't understand. Like, how much are you changing?
How much can they change that will make, like, how much are you allowed to change on a classic, right? That's what we need to talk about. What is too much to you, Barry? Like, changing the genre, is that too much?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe to change it, they wouldn't have it locked in at the different directions. Maybe it would be free, you know, 360, and maybe they'll do VR support. That would be kind of cool.
I think it would be cool if they add like an RPG system, you know, level some stuff up. Like, I wouldn't mind little things like that, but like changing the genre, that's way too much. I think it has to be a real shooter.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because in the press release they mentioned that the last relaunch took place with Panzer Dragoon Orta this past April on Xbox One, but that wasn't really a relaunch. That was just a backward compatibility port. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a remake.
Sega doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
They just like allow it to be listed in the list of games that are allowed to be played on the
Right,
emulator.
of course. So, like, again, new graphics, several modifications to the game, making it more attractive to modern players, and remaining faithful to the original in terms of story. Do you think because they called out Panzer Dragoon Orta that they will make these first 2 games play more like that game?
I have no idea. I mean, it'd be cool, but like this team hasn't really shown us anything. Like, they literally didn't even say it's going to be a rail shooter, so that's what has me concerned. But if it's more like Orta, I guess I wouldn't complain. But I still feel like a lot of, you know, old school fans will probably get mad about that because there's a certain feel to the old games that the newer, like, Orta didn't have. So it'd be interesting. But my thing's also concerning is the art style. The game had a very unique art style. Very, like, it wasn't bright, it wasn't beautiful, it was very, like, earthy tones. Like, it's kind of weird to explain, but, like, it had, like, these, like the closest thing that a developer in this modern era that's gotten close to that kind of look is the Shadow of Colossus remake or something, you know?
Right.
Like, those games remind me of what Panzer Dragoon was, and I feel like I'm sure those games from Sony are inspired by Panzer Dragoon games, but it has a very unique art style, and I don't know if you've seen the new remake of Shadow of Colossus. It looks great, but then people started noticing, like, they changed little bits of art here and there,
yeah,
and all the hardcore fans got mad.
I did.
So it's like,
yeah.
Imagine this.
I saw a video where they were actually saying how they didn't like the remake of Shadow of Colossus because, you know, you'd have a scene where it's like it's your character and your destination, and it was so simple and beautiful. And then in the HD version, it's like your character, your destination, flowers and bushes everywhere, all this other stuff that doesn't matter. You know, it was like, why did they add all this window dressing? And that's kind of how I feel with Panzer Dragoon. Like, the original, it looks beautiful with just the ocean, the pillars, and the dragon, but are they going to really go all out and just, like, put a bunch of crap everywhere?
And another thing they didn't mention is that the people that made these games are still around. They have companies, right? Like,
right.
So they're not going to be involved at all on this. Like, Grounding Inc. is doing that Space Channel 5 VR remake. So they're doing VR. They're doing remakes. Literally, that VR game is using a level from the old Dreamcast game. Why not use them? Or at least put in the press release that they're working with them to, like, approve changes? They're not doing any of that.
Right, and I think this and Shenmue HD are interesting because for the longest time we believed that SEGA was very precious with their IPs and that they would not create new content if the original creators didn't, you know, say it was okay. But we're seeing this, and the people who worked on these games, you know, like even Streets of Rage 4, it's kind of crazy how many remakes, like, I could easily see Jet Set Radio 3 happening now, and I wouldn't have said that a year ago.
Yeah, it feels like Sega is open to indie developers, developers that don't have a big repertoire to come in and change things. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I think some projects will be good, but I think we're going to have to see our failures. I hope this is not one of them because I'm really excited at the prospect of it if it's done right. And I think a lot of fans have been waiting years and years and years for this. So I hope they hit it out of the park. I don't want any ill will towards them, but it's very troubling.
Right, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't want people to think, oh my god, you guys can never be happy about anything, but, you know, you can't be all in on these sorts of things. I mean, you'll watch our other news story that we're covering, and imagine if we were, you know, positive the entire time, and then, you know.
And that's it for this video today, and if you're asking when's the last time I've been happy, I was born one day, and it was a pretty good day. So, see you guys next video where we complain about something else. Check it out in this screen thing right here. Bye.
That works.
It's the worst fucking ending.
The screen thing.